while also making your home more comfortable. SRP's network of participating contractors can guide you from start to finish and maximize your savings by combining Inflation Reduction Act incentives with SRP rebates. Learn more at savewithsrp.com.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond is worthy of a Shane Company engagement ring. Our team travels the world to see diamonds in person and handpick each one. That type of dedication only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. No matter your budget, your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Empty slogans and cute jingles. Lawyers love to act like they care. Do they back it up? Hi, I'm Mark Breyer.
And I'm Alexis Breyer. We're the husband and wife law team. One study found that half of all clients were unhappy with the lawyer they hired. The number one complaint, a total lack of communication.
We take client happiness seriously. That's why we survey all our clients and know that over 97% are happy. Do your research. Call the husband and wife law team first.
Superstar Car Wash has extended our best deal of the year. Log in 30% off for 12 months on a Super Protect Unlimited membership. Splurge elsewhere, save here, and treat your wealth before it's gone. Visit our website for details.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
Yes, happy Monday to you. It's the lunch break right here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert, producer Evan on the other side of the glass. The phone number for you to hop in, get involved on what is a very newsworthy day and what I expect to be a very newsworthy 2 hours here on the program. 480-864-1060 is how you can get involved. You can also chat away with us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel, where we are live streaming the show as well. A lot of football for you here today because we start with our top story, the Daily Special. This is an easy one. The Cardinals, they made the tough decision.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
I honestly didn't expect it to happen. I'll take you behind the curtain for just a second. The entire show, as of about an hour ago, was put together. And it was opening with us discussing the Arizona Cardinals ending their season with another loss, ending their season with a 9th consecutive loss, 14 of 15 to end the year. And we were going to talk about how the work begins now. No matter what that was going to look like, the work starts now to fixing all of this. That still remains to be true. But now we've been taken in a totally different direction because the Arizona Cardinals made the decision today. They fired Jonathan Gannon. He's out. He's gone. After 3 seasons, the Cardinals have decided enough is enough. The 15-36 record needed to go. The missing of expectations. There was a Grand Canyon-sized difference between the expectations that this team had this season and the ultimate results. And I think the Arizona Cardinals heard all the noise every single week. They heard it grow and grow and grow, and they decided, we can't run this back. We can't have the head coach who's going to sell the message on why 2026 is going to be different be the guy who just oversaw a 3-14 season. It is the worst year in the history of the Arizona Cardinals franchise. It is their first 14-loss season in the history of the franchise. They have 4 13-loss seasons. Jonathan Gannon had one of those as well. So not only did Gannon oversee the worst season in franchise history, but he also oversaw in his first year here one of the 4 13-loss seasons that this franchise had. You had no choice. I was still surprised today somewhat that they did this because all the noise you heard was in the complete opposite direction. That they were going to keep Jonathan Gannon. They were going to make some changes at the coordinator positions. They were going to decide what to do at the quarterback spot. Jonathan Gannon was going to have a seat at the table of ultimately who was going to be under center for this team next season. But all signs were pointing towards this team running it back at least at the head coach position. And by the way, they're running it back at the GM spot because in about an hour from now, Michael Bidwell and GM Monty Ossenford are going to meet with the media. I don't expect there to be a change at the GM chair if he's going to be at the press conference today meeting with the media. So the only change here is going to be at the head coach, and then the branching off of that to the rest of this coaching staff with whoever gets brought in here. And trust me, we're going to spend a lot of time today and over the next couple of weeks discussing who might be a candidate for this head coaching gig. And we're going to break down all of the interviews that the Cardinals will have over the next couple of weeks to get their next head coach. We're going to do that here today, but we're going to start with the news, and we're going to start with Jonathan Gannon being gone. And I'm glad that the Cardinals got to what I think is the right decision, although I would have gone a step further and cleaned house completely. I'm glad that they decided that this wasn't good enough and they wanted to show the fans and all of us accountability. Because anything short of a GM or a head coach firing, I think would have fallen short of accountability. They might have used the term if they fired a coordinator or coordinators, position coaches, but it still would have fallen short of ultimate accountability, because if you run back the GM that put together the flawed roster and you bring back the head coach that oversaw the worst season in franchise history, how can you sell a message of we understand what went wrong here? We are going to work on fixing it. There's no trust in the people who are going to be given the tools to fix it after a 3-14 season. Now, I know there are many of you out there today that are happy by this news, excited by this news, excited about what the future may hold. And I'm not going to be hypocritical. I'm the guy who for the last month and a half on this program have said I'm done with Jonathan Gannon. I'm ready to move on. And so I think they made the right decision today. But this is not a happy time to be an Arizona Cardinals fan. Let me explain why. By making this decision today, the right decision, you've admitted that you failed. You admitted that you got it wrong. You picked the wrong guy. You picked the wrong head coach. You thought taking somebody off the Philadelphia Eagles coaching tree, somebody who had overseen a ton of success, gone to a Super Bowl, was a good culture guy, defensive side of the ball, you thought, no chance we screwed this up. We're going to fix the defense. We're going to change the culture after Cliff. We're going to bring in a tough culture guy to turn things around. And before you know it, this team's going to be back in the postseason. We're going to have a better roster. We're going to play better defensively. We're going to figure things out with Kyler Murray. We're going to be off to the races. They got nowhere close to that. They failed. Let's face it, they wasted 3 years of all of our lives watching football every Sunday. Because at the end of year 3, they have a coach who went 15-36, and they moved on. And they reset once again. And they're going to have a quarterback decision to make this offseason. They're going to have a head coach decision to make this offseason. And they're going to have a top 3 pick to maybe, potentially, get themselves out of this mess at quarterback if all the quarterbacks that are expected to declare ultimately end up declaring and putting the Cardinals in a position to get one of those 3. That's going to be another storyline that we now need to keep an eye on, because the Cardinals got some help yesterday in New York with the Giants beating Dallas. They got some help with Cleveland. They got some help across the league that put them into the number 3 spot in the NFL draft. And we'll talk about how attractive this opening is for the Arizona Cardinals as the show progresses. But you have now a head coach opening, you have a quarterback opening, you have a top 3 pick, and now you've got to sell a brand new vision. But you failed over the last 3 years as an organization with the vision and message that you were trying to sell. And so you now have to do a postmortem. And I think that phrase is so apropos of what this season was, because this season and this team was dead by October. So you need to do a postmortem and figure out what the heck went wrong here. How did this go so sideways? Injuries certainly played a role, but how did we get things so wrong on the offensive side? How did we get things so wrong? Because this is where Monty has to do some self-reflection and see, how did I get this wrong? Because I picked Jonathan Gannon, and I'm going to get a chance that most GMs don't get. I'm going to get a chance to get a second head coach in here. Where did I go wrong in that process? Where did we go wrong in this process? Because it's one thing to show the accountability. It's one thing to make this move and show that you were listening and show that 3-14 is unacceptable. And that's great. And that accountability is welcomed. But now the real work begins. The work to make sure that in 3 years, we're not repeating the same mistakes, that we're not having the same conversation with another coach who brought in excitement, who brought in a new attitude, who brought in a new vision, and in 3 years was ceremoniously shown the door because it didn't work with that coach either. You have to get the work right to get the right people in here. The work starts today to fix a broken offense. The work starts today to fix a broken fan base who celebrates days like this. You should want the standard to be higher, and I know you do. But when this is the most exciting thing that's happened throughout the course of this Cardinal season, that tells you how broken things are and how much work needs to be done. The work to figure out what's gone wrong in the draft process as to why we're questioning what they did with the 4th overall pick a couple years ago. The work to figure out why all these injuries occurred. The work to decide what the future at quarterback is going to be. And now the work to figure out who's going to be the next head coach of this franchise. That's the mountain that faces this team this offseason. It's a very big hole that they have dug for themselves. Can they do it all in one offseason? I'm not sure. That's a lot of stuff to do. But can they get the head coach right? Can they make the right decision at quarterback? That's where you have to start. You have to start with getting those two decisions right, the head coach and the quarterback. If you get those two right, it makes the rest of it easier. If you have the right head coach and you have the right quarterback, the rest comes more naturally. And so that's where the Cardinals are at today. They've decided to hit the reset button. They've decided 15-36 isn't good enough. 14 of 15, not good enough. 9 in a row at the end of the season, not good enough. Constantly getting embarrassed by the fellow teams in your division. Giving up 40 points, getting blown out a bunch here at the latter stages of the season. They told you today it's not good enough. They listened. That's a good thing. It's a good thing that they listened. And this, you want to celebrate this? I look at this more as a reflection of the failure of the last 3 years. A reflection of them getting it wrong and now needing to start over from the beginning. It's like chutes and ladders. You've moved back to the beginning of the board. Yeah, you look like you were going in the right direction. Rolled the wrong dice roll. Boom, we're going backwards. You now have to start at the beginning. And I hope this is an extensive head coaching search. I hope they interview everybody and anybody that is willing to sit down and talk to them, because they can learn from the people that they don't hire just as much as they can learn from the people that they do hire. But this is where the Cardinals are at today. They made a decision that this isn't good enough. They made a decision to show accountability to all of you. And I guarantee you, the messages that were on social media, the messages that were getting sent to the Cardinals inbox of season tickets not being renewed and people not wanting to support this if Jonathan Gannon came back, I think that weighed heavily on this decision, because at the end of the day, Michael Bidwell is running a business. And if the overwhelming sentiment is people aren't going to invest their time, their money, not to get political, but not everyone's got money to throw around these days to watch a 3-14 product with season tickets skyrocketing every single year. So if people are going to make that investment, it's got to be something that they believe in. They did not believe in Jonathan Gannon anymore, and I can't blame them, because I stopped believing in Jonathan Gannon about 2 months ago.
And what did he show you to ever make you believe this year? And that's been the biggest conversation we've had a month ago, 6 weeks ago. And you didn't know maybe until the end of the year, and I didn't know last week that they were going to make this change. But as the season went on, and as the fan base continued to deal with what was the end of Jonathan Gannon's tenure, it became more clear that this was a move they had to make. Not that they should make. This was the move they had to make.
Of course, it needed to be done. I was skeptical that it was going to get done. But at the end of the day, this is a results business. And what do the results say? The worst season in franchise history. 14 losses. 9 losses to end the season. Lost 14 of your last 15 games. Even injuries. Baltimore had injuries this year. They played in a game last night to go to the playoffs. Injuries are only a small percentage of what went wrong this season. And I don't think the players necessarily quit on Jonathan Gannon, but it just wasn't working. And if you were going to run him back, why? Just because you don't want to pay 3 coaches? Because that's something that I heard thrown out over the weekend, that they're still paying Cliff Kingsbury, right? They have that contract that needs to run out. They're paying Jonathan Gannon. If they fire Gannon, they're going to then be paying 3 coaches at the same time. Now, Cliff's making a decent amount of money, and he's about to get a head coaching gig more than likely. So that should come out as a wash here pretty soon. But you cannot allow that to get in the way of making what is the right decision for the future of this organization. If you no longer believe that this is the right guy, and again, 14 of 15, 9 losses in a row, 15-36, you are so far away from the rest of your division. All of it adds up to, is this really the guy? And we asked this a couple of weeks ago. What does Jonathan Gannon do well? And the answer was nothing. We couldn't come up with the answer. That in itself was the answer of what the Cardinals needed to do. I just didn't expect them to do it because all of the noise was pointing in the other direction. But they made what I think is the right decision for the long-term outlook of this franchise. But that doesn't mean that they're out of the woods just yet. They have to get this right. Because I can think back to 3 years ago when Cliff Kingsbury was fired by the Arizona Cardinals. And everybody on that day thought it was the right decision. And it was the right decision. But they didn't get it right after that. They picked Jonathan Gannon. And now 3 years later, they are back in the same predicament. They are back in the same situation. They are back searching for somebody that's going to be the right leader, the right vision, bring in the right tone, the right culture, the right attitude, the right scheme, all of it to turn this boat around. The work starts now. I know many thought this was the hard part. This is the easy part. The easy part was making this decision today. The hard part is getting the right guy. The hard part is making the right decision at quarterback. The hard part is figuring out what went wrong with the injuries. The hard part is fixing this roster on the offensive side. The hard work starts now. And I'm skeptical of the person that's going to be leading this operation in Monty. I'm skeptical in them checking all the boxes in one offseason. But it all starts with who they get as the head coach. And we're going to talk about that as this show progresses. We'll give you some candidates in hour number 2 of the program. But when we come back, we now know the Cardinals are going to be one of 6 teams searching for a new head coach. How attractive is this job? That's next. Lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
NAU men's basketball continues over on KAZG 1440. Join the Lumberjacks this Thursday evening as they play host to Weber State. With the leadership of head coach Shane Burkhart, NAU knows they have what it takes to defend home court. Join Mitch Stroman on the call live. It's NAU versus Weber State this Thursday. Pregame at 5:30 p.m. over on KAZG 1440 and tip-off at 6 on KDUS AM 1060.
My Chemical Romance, The Black Parade 2026. Live at Chase Field, September 6th, 2026. With special guest, Jimmy Eat World. Get tickets now at livenation.com. For more, visit mychemicalromance.com.
You won't believe everything I just saw. I went to Disneyland, and it was the 70th celebration. First, I went to Mickey Mouse Clubhouse Live, and I danced with Goofy. I even got Dad to do the hot dog dance. He's not bad, actually. At night, I saw this parade. Everything was glowing. There were all these lights and colors. Sorcerer Mickey was there, and Lightning McQueen. Oh, then I went to this giant water show with all the Inside Out characters. And I was like, whoa. And then my parents were like, whoa. Oh, and guess what? Bluey and Bingo are coming for real life.
Make memories that last a lifetime during the 70th celebration. From Paint the Night Parade returning January 30th to World of Color Happiness. And with Bluey and Bingo coming soon. Happiness is everywhere at the Disneyland Resort. Visit Disneyland.com for details.
Nothing can stop us now.
Right now at Del Taco, you can get 2 grilled chicken tacos for just $3. You hear that? That's the real sizzle of a real grill. At Del Taco, we freshly grill our marinated chicken right here in our kitchens. Not some factory far, far away. It's what makes our grilled chicken tacos a top seller for over 30 years. So come get 2 grilled chicken tacos, made to order for only $3. A real good deal we can all use right now. Only at Del Taco.
Del, yeah.
Price and participation may vary.
Jim Rome here with your Rome Report. The Clippers sawed off the best player, arguably, in franchise history in the middle of the night, 21 games into his alleged retirement farewell tour, a retirement tour that he returned home for so he could take it as a Clipper. He picked him. He wanted to come home. He wanted to go out as a Clipper. The Clippers actually just canceled Chris Paul's retirement tour. If this really is the end for CP3, and he really does not hook on anywhere else, we will always have this. Lob City. Look at the good old days. That was then, and this is now. And again, it's the most Clipper thing ever. The guy came home to retire. Quote, home. And home broke him off in the middle of the night. I'm Jim Rome. Remember, you can follow me on Instagram at Jim Rome.
Need parts fast? Need them now? O'Reilly is fast. Just one part that makes O'Reilly Auto Parts stand apart. Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 Brake Best Select rotors. Upgrade to Brake Best Select pads for just $10 more. Or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or Import Direct pads for just $20 more. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Trying something new or making player picks for the first time can be hard, but on Prize Picks, it always feels good to be right. Start the new year right with Prize Picks. Just pick 2 to 6 players, pick more or less on their stat projections, and submit your lineup to play. Download the Prize Picks app today, use the code ROME, and get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. That's code ROME on Prize Picks to get $50 in bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. You do have to be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
ASU women's basketball continues here on KDUS AM 1060. The Lady Sun Devils make their way back to Arizona, this time to defend home court against the University of Central Florida. Head coach Molly Miller and the Lady Sun Devils are more than ready to take on any challenge that comes to Tempe. Join Jeff Munn on the call live this Wednesday. It's ASU versus UCF. Pregame at 6 p.m. and tip-off at 6:30 right here on KDUS AM 1060. Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, the story of the day, the story that we'll be monitoring not just today, but for a while over the next couple of weeks. The Arizona Cardinals made the decision. They fired Jonathan Gannon this morning. You wake up, you see that Cleveland has fired Kevin Stefanski. You see that the Raiders fired Pete Carroll. You see Raheem Morris got fired last night. You're sitting there and you're at 5 total firings as you wake up this morning. And usually there's 6, sometimes there's 7. And you're looking around the league and you see Cincinnati come out with a statement supporting Zach Taylor. The Jets don't look like they're making a move. All signs pointed towards the Cardinals keeping Jonathan Gannon. So you were wondering if we were going to be stuck at 5. Well, the Cardinals made the decision, the right one, to move on from Jonathan Gannon. So they join the pool. Right now, the pool stands at 6. And we did this a little while ago on the show. I think it was the solo show that I did pre-Christmas. The Friday before Christmas, I did a show where there was a story on ESPN that was looking at how attractive potential openings were across the NFL. Well, now we can get rid of the word potential, and now we can look at all of these openings and rank them in some ways. Look at all of these openings and decide which one is the most attractive and where the Cardinals fall on that list. The 6, Cardinals, the Titans, the Giants, the Falcons, the Browns, and the Raiders. As we're doing the show today, those are the 6 openings in the NFL. We'll start with the Cardinals because they're the team here in town, and then we can compare them to the other 5. The Cardinals, I look at this job, and you see a team that's got the 3rd overall pick. You see a team that is got $21 million in cap space. That's good for 17th. Oh, by the way, all these cap numbers, courtesy of overthecap.com, these numbers will change. Trades, contract restructurings, extensions, that this number is kind of fluid. I'm using the current numbers as of overthecap.com today for all of these teams' cap space. This number is not locked, set in stone. It can be manipulated between now and the beginning of the league year. $21 million in cap space. That's good for 17th in the league. We know about the talent that the team has on defense. Josh Sweat, Will Johnson had a great rookie campaign. You like what you saw from Walter Nolan when he was able to be healthy and out on the field. Garrett Williams went healthy. Max Melton, great corner room. You got Budda Baker out there in the secondary. You like a lot of the pieces that you have that make up the core of this defense. You also play in the toughest division in football, and let's keep that front of mind here when ranking the attractiveness, because I do think that's going to play a factor in all of this. There's only 32 of these jobs, so somebody's going to take it. But I wonder if weighing between the Cardinals and another gig, if the fact that the Cardinals play in what I think is the toughest division in football, 3 teams going to the postseason, I wonder if that's going to weigh on the decision. The Titans, you've got Cam Ward, first overall pick. You've got your franchise quarterback, or at least you're going to try to see if Cam Ward is your franchise quarterback. You play in a tough division, right? Jacksonville's good. Houston made the postseason. Indy would have made it probably if not for the Daniel Jones injury. So you play in a tough division. You have the 4th overall pick, but you have the most cap space in the sport, $105 million in cap space going into this offseason. So plenty of money to invest into this team, to beef up certain areas. You've got the franchise quarterback. You've got a top 5 pick that you're going to be able to invest in as well. The Giants, similar type outlook. They've got a quarterback in Jackson Dart. They also have a top 5 pick. Skill players. You got Cam Scatteraboo. You have Malik Neighbors. You've got talent on defense. You have a division that appears more open than I think the other 3. Right? Washington, what are they going to be? Can Jaden Daniels stay healthy? Dallas, Dak's not getting any younger. Had a great offense this year. It still wasn't good enough. Philly's been the standard, but they look like they took a bit of a step backwards. So of the 3 divisions we've looked at so far, the most open of the 3, Atlanta. Don't have a first-round pick. Major questions about Michael Penix and the quarterback room at large. A terrible cap situation, but you play in the easiest division of the teams we mentioned so far. 8-9 was good enough to win the NFC South. 8-9, below 500, good enough to win the NFC South. The Browns, they've got the 6th pick in the draft. They have minus $12 million in cap space. Just means they're going to do a ton of restructuring between now and the beginning of the league year to become cap compliant, but that kind of locks them in to some contracts. They play in a tough division. What's their quarterback outlook? Not really in a position to take a quarterback at number 6. They do have 2 first-round picks because of the trade they made with Jacksonville in last year's draft. But a tough division, a weird cap, just a lot of kind of nonsense you have to get past and get through if you're going to take that gig. Then you have the Raiders. They have the 1st overall pick. Extremely hard division. $100.8 million in cap space. That's good enough for a 3rd in the sport. So a tough division. You got to play the Chiefs twice. You got to play the Chargers twice. You got to play the Broncos twice. You do have the 1st overall pick, so you potentially have that get-out-of-jail-free card at the quarterback spot. If you like one of these quarterbacks, you have a ton of cap space to invest in this roster, but you are still miles behind Denver and the Chargers and the Chiefs, who missed the playoffs last year. You are way behind them. What's Max Crosby's future going to look like? All of these situations have major question marks. And I don't want to redo what I just said, but I look at every single one of these and I see a major red flag that might stop me from taking the gig. The Cardinals, it's the division. The Titans, it's just the amount of work that needs to be done to overhaul that roster. The Giants, it's I don't have a ton of cap space to fix the offensive side of things. The Falcons, it's I don't have a first-round pick and I'm stuck with Michael Penix. The Browns, it's you're the Browns. It's constantly a mess there. And the Raiders, it's the division, and it's the amount of work that I have to do. So none of these jobs are a situation where somebody's retiring and there's an opening and it's a tailor-made spot with a great roster and a decent cap situation and good draft picks. They all have their flaws. They all have their warts. I look at Tennessee as the one that I like the most. The cap space, the most in football. I think I've got a quarterback. I've got another top 4 pick that I'm going to be able to surround that quarterback. Even if it's somebody on the defensive side, I'm going to be able to get a blue chip. And with the way the draft is set up right now, I'm probably going to get the best non-quarterback. If all 3 quarterbacks, Mendoza, Moore, and Simpson declare, they're going 1, 2, 3 in some order. So I'm going to get the best non-quarterback in the draft. Whether that's an edge rusher to beef up my pass rush, whether it's an offensive skill player, whether it's Jordan Tyson to give Cam Ward a top target, a top receiver. Plus, I've got $105 million in cap space that I can throw at certain issues in free agency. And I've got a division where, yes, it's a tough division, but it's a weird division.
It's certainly open.
It's open. Jacksonville, 13-4. They lost 13 games the year prior. I think they've got things on track, but you never know. Houston, great the first year for DeMeco Ryans, a bad second year, a decent year this year. They've kind of gone back and forth. The Colts, what are the Colts?
And going back to Houston, it's an interesting thing because we say it's a bad second year. They won a playoff game.
Right.
They were in the divisional round of the playoffs. So I don't know what this – and as much as I have sat here on this show and said I don't know what C.J. Stroud is, C.J. Stroud, 2 years in the league is 2 playoff wins, and they're headed back for another. I think both of us would probably pick them over Pittsburgh. So What are they? And you're going to play in that division. I think that's just has to be the most attractive job. And the other one I would say, just because your pick of the quarterback is the Raiders, but you want to go to a division with Mahomes, with Herbert, with everything Denver has done?
I think I like the Giants job more because I have a top 5 pick. I don't have a ton of cap space, but I've got more skill players already on the roster. I know I need to rebuild my offensive line, but I've got a running back. I've got a wide receiver 1. I've got talent on defense, right? I've got Brian Burns signed to a long-term deal. I drafted Abdul Carter, and it was a rocky up-and-down year, but he showed flashes. I've got talent on the defensive side. And none of these are quick turnarounds. None of these are coach comes in 1 year later, everything's fixed. They're a playoff team. I don't think any of these teams, maybe outside of Atlanta, just because of the division they play in and they can get lucky, all of them are multi-year processes. The Cardinals, that's a 2-year process, I think.
At least.
I think the Titans is a 2-year process. The Giants, maybe, if you get it right, you can be a wild card team. Maybe.
A 7 seed max.
Maybe. The Raiders, even if you nail the head coach,
could be a 3-year process.
You get Fernando Mendoza, and he's great, and you spend that money wisely. I still think you're behind the Chargers and the Broncos and a Chiefs team with a healthy Mahomes. I think you're behind all 3 of them still.
And listen, I think there's a lot of questions on what the Chiefs will be next year. You still have Patrick Mahomes. You still have Andy Reid. Even at their worst, they're going to be better than the Raiders with a rookie quarterback and a new head coach. And so how is that more attractive than any of these jobs?
The calling card to Tennessee and New York is if you believe in the quarterback, in Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, because that's the name of the game in the NFL. You have a quarterback, it can fix a lot of other things. Your draw to the Raiders is I have the first overall pick. If I love one of these guys, I know that if I go there, I'm going to get one of these guys. What's the draw to go to Atlanta? I have an easy path to the playoffs in the division that I play in. What's the draw to go to Cleveland? What's the draw to go to Arizona? Maybe I'm going to get the 3rd best quarterback if all 3 declare. So I don't view this Arizona gig as the most attractive. I don't think they're going to be able to pick their guy. I think if the Giants want the same guy as the Cardinals are going to lose the battle. I think if the Cardinals want the same guy as the Titans, they're going to lose the battle. I think if the Cardinals want the same guy as the Raiders, they might lose the battle because of all the cap space and because of the number 1 overall pick. I think this is probably the 4th at best situation for a coach this offseason. I know there's talent on defense, but there's so much work to do offensively. There's a whole quarterback situation you got to figure out, and you don't have the clean, easy path to get to that quarterback answer the way that you do in Vegas with the number 1 overall pick.
And the Falcons have massive holes and don't have a quarterback. And I would think about taking it just because of the division.
And I've got Bijan Robinson. I've got Drake London. I've got Kyle Pitts.
I certainly have weapons.
I've got talent.
Certainly have weapons.
I've got talent. And maybe I think that I can fix Michael Penix. Maybe I'm a coach that thinks, maybe I'm Kevin Stefanski and I think I can get
the most out of Michael Penix.
I mean, Michael Penix is better than some of the quarterbacks that Kevin Stefanski had to try to draw up plays for.
Certainly this year.
So Kevin Stefanski in that division, I think, would potentially make them the favorites.
1 year in, I think so.
So I just don't think the Cardinals are going to be towards the top of a potential candidate's pecking order. And that's why Cardinals can be deliberate. Take your time. Interview a lot of people. Cast a wide net. Interview college coaches. Interview coordinators. Interview former head coaches. Interview everybody and anybody that you are able to get in and sit down. It's the same thing we said about the Suns coaching search. Cast the widest net possible. Leave no stone unturned if you're Monty Ossenfort.
Because what every interview is going to do, guess what question you're going to ask in every interview? What do you think the plan is for us to move forward? What is the plan for us to turn this ship around?
Yeah, I think the question that's going to get asked that's going to get asked to every candidate is, what's your plan at quarterback? What would you like to see us do at quarterback? I think that's going to be question numero uno for Michael Bidwell and Monty Ossenfort in every single one of these interviews. But just don't laser in on somebody like Kevin Stefanski, and then if he goes to the Giants, you're left not knowing what to do. Cast a wide net, have multiple candidates, and yeah, you might not get your first choice because I don't think you're the top job. But maybe if you play your cards right, if you conduct a thorough coaching search, you're going to get a couple of guys in this process that you really like. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program when we come back. Recapping the final week of the regular season with the NFL Rewind. We'll do it next. Lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
James out west.
7 teams to decline a bowl game. Like, I feel like we shouldn't be able to do that.
Certain teams, I can understand. Notre Dame, you're a top-notch team. You have a lot of recruiting you need to retain. I kind of get that. Temple, what are you doing? Who are you to be turning down bowl games? What major recruits are you losing that are in off-season mode at Temple? There should be some parameters around that, but the season is officially over. Like, these are invitations. You can decline an invitation. So I see it from both sides.
Every other Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
It's frustrating when people intervene on you, but they have problems of their own. It's like when someone sends you a text, but the text comes from their email address. I hate this. Your name at iCloud, they FaceTime you from their email address? Are you calling on a child's iPad?
Emmy-winning comedian John Mulaney announces his new tour, Mr. Whatever. Celebrity Theater, Friday, March 6th. Tickets on sale now at etix.com.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. I know finding a dream engagement ring can be overwhelming, but don't worry, we got you. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond at Shane Company is truly the best of the best. Our team travels the world to see diamonds up close, in person. We handpick each one for its unique fire, brilliance, and scintillation. Diamond buying is an art. Of course, we look at cut, color, clarity, and carat, known as the 4 C's, but that's not all. We also look at how each diamond looks on a hand, where it will be worn, how it makes you feel, and if it's worthy of a Shane Company customer. That type of expertise only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. We also think about your budget. We only pick the best in each grade in all shapes and sizes. Your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
At Zoo Lights, the Phoenix Zoo has everything you need to celebrate the season. Embrace the holiday spirit as millions of twinkling lights transform the zoo into a winter wonderland. With over 2 miles of glimmering tree-lined trails, dozens of animal lanterns, and the tallest floating tree in North America, featuring an all-new Lake Lights show. Warm up with s'mores, sip hot cocoa, and swing into fun at Glow Garden. Zoo Lights, presented by SRP. Timeless tradition, endless wonder. Get tickets now at phoenixzoo.org.
What's that song that goes ba-da-da-da-da-da?
You mean la-di-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee?
No, he's talking about bum, 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 bum. No, that's not it.
All right, guys, we don't have time for this. Furnaces are breaking down, and we promise we'll be there in one day.
That's it.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
Oh, that song.
One of my favorites. If you have a problem today, Alaskan AC will get to you within one day.
If we don't, the whole repair is free, no matter how much.
So good, people are singing about it.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
Reminds me of another song that goes boom, chicka boom, chicka boom, chicka boom.
I've never heard that.
Well, you're not as cultured as me. You have about as much culture as a bowl of yogurt.
With Alaskan AC service guarantee, we'll arrive in one day or your repair is free.
AlaskanAC.com.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you. Thanks for hanging out with us. It was the last week of the regular season, week 18. It's also the first NFL Rewind of 2026. Your tour guide, producer Evan, do you mind helping me out here? We've got a major problem in the studio.
What happened?
Never mind. We're okay. We're okay.
What happened?
It was almost...
Oh, that could have been bad.
It would have been brutal. Now, you have the song on your page. We would have been okay.
We would have been okay.
But I hit the button like 3 times.
And it didn't play.
It didn't play. So I thought my screen was frozen. But we're back.
By the way, congratulations to caller Peyton. Went perfect.
Do I want to open this can of worms today? I'm interested. I'll do it. A lot of perfect weeks here towards the end. Don't know what's going on with that.
Just saying it.
I don't know.
Just saying.
I don't know how there would be a conspiracy, but
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'll get back to you.
But we start on Saturday.
Because we have to fly. We have to fly through the rewind.
Saturday in the afternoon. It was Carolina. They headed to Tampa Bay. A little bit of weather, but the Bucs get it done. A 16-14 win. Just too little, too late.
A little bit of weather. A little bit of weather. There were times where the camera was so fogged up because of the rain, you couldn't see the play. We're gonna get to this when we get to Atlanta, but we got the most NFC South outcome of all time. Tampa won, then the Falcons beat the Saints, so the Panthers, even though they lost, are going to the postseason, which I believe means they are going to be one of your 3 plays.
Plus 10.5.
They are going to be one of your 3 plays this week.
Carolina plus 10.5. I'll take that as my 1 point play.
Locking in right now.
Yes.
Carolina plus 10.5.
New England minus the 3.5. My 3 point play. I have to find a 2 point play.
It's kind of easy to pick in the postseason when before the season starts, you just
claimed
that whoever plays the Chargers is going to be your 3 point play for wild card weekend.
In the late game on Sunday night, it was for the 1 seed. Seattle traveled to San Francisco and got a 13-3 win on the road. It was testy, though, there in the start. After they didn't get it on their first series when they went for it on 4th and goal, it was like, oh, it may be the Niners' day. 3 points, not going to be enough, though.
We need some quick repairs for the Honda Civic. We need an oil change. We need to do like a NASCAR pit crew, 4 new tires, because we can't do any of the major work on the engine, the transmission, can't do any of that. But we could do like a quick tune-up. That's what the Honda Civic needs, because they did not look good in that game.
And defensively, they didn't look bad, right? And that was first time haven't looked bad defensively in probably 6 weeks. And offensively, couldn't move the ball.
Got to score points.
That Seattle defense is really good. They have to go to Philadelphia next week. Right. Another really good defense.
So because you lost that game and didn't get the 1 seed, you now have to travel to the defending Super Bowl champions, who, by the way, everybody's starting to ignore. Everybody's talking about Seattle. They're talking about the Rams. Everyone's in love with the Bears now. 49ers are a dark horse pick. Everybody is forgetting about the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a dangerous game.
Not where you want to be.
I'm out on them. I'm picking them to be 1 and done. But I am also playing the dangerous game because now we're just ignoring them. We're just completely casting them aside. And then what's going to happen is they're going to go on a run to the NFC Championship and be like, what? How did this happen? How are the Eagles in they're the 3 seed for a reason. They've been good all year. They just haven't been passing the eye test the way you would expect a defending Super Bowl champion.
I mean, they won 11 games, didn't play a starter in week 18.
No, we'll get to that. One of a few games where neither team was playing for anything.
Crucial mistake. Well, the Eagles were.
Made for some boring football.
We'll get into that. Saints traveled to Atlanta.
Oh, shout out to the Atlanta Falcons.
And in Raheem Morris' final act as the Atlanta Falcons head coach, thank you to Raheem because he's sending my Thurs to the playoffs. My Panthers are headed as the division champions. Thank you to a 19-17 win by the Falcons at home.
If you're Tampa, you win the game on Saturday. You're feeling great about yourself. And now you have to watch and you're rooting for the Saints, who beat you a couple of weeks ago. And you're watching this game play out in the way that it did. Just in the most NFC South thing you could have predicted.
The Cleveland Browns traveled to Cincinnati in what was probably maybe the most meaningless game of the day. They got a 20-18 win on the road. But the storyline from this game, Myles Garrett broke the NFL's sack record, a 23 sack season.
Jamar Chase not happy with the celebration that occurred afterwards.
No.
Can I be honest with you? He's not wrong.
No.
He's not wrong. That if that was Jamar Chase and the team celebrating a milestone of his, like his 15th catch of the game or something, they probably throw a penalty. Now, it's an all-time record, so I do think there was some kind of wiggle room for the officials, but I've seen a lot less get penalized.
A lot less.
I've seen a lot less get penalized, but congrats to Myles Garrett. Really, the only important thing in this game coming into it was would he get this sack record, and he did.
Packers couldn't move up, couldn't move down. They were locked in as the 7th seed.
Didn't matter.
They traveled to Minnesota and got a 16-3 loss. J.J. McCarthy, 14 of 23 for 182 yards.
A game that didn't matter to either team, and it showed. Yes. A game that didn't matter to either team, and boy, was it on full display.
Another game that did not matter, the Giants.
Oh, no, this mattered. This mattered, just not in the way Giants
for the
fans
Cardinals.
thought.
A 34-17 win over the Cowboys. Thank you to Jackson Dart, who was 22 of 32, 230 yards, 2 touchdowns. He looked really efficient.
I mean, we'll take it because it's going to create a lot of interesting conversation on this program with the Cardinals having a top 3 pick. But New York, what are you doing? You had a top 3 pick. You would have picked, what, number 2 if you would have lost the game. You would have been right in position to make a trade for a quarterback, right? If somebody wanted to come up, or if you wanted to trade Jackson Dart and you wanted to take a quarterback, all of that was available to you. Now it's not because you won a meaningless game at the end of the season for an interim head coach that's not coming back. Brutal. We'll take it, though. We'll take it.
The Jags needed a win to take on the division championship.
Oh, they did it all right.
After going down 7-0, they strung together 41 unanswered and won this one at home 41-7 against the Tennessee Titans.
I'm surprised Trevor Lawrence was in the game as long as he was.
I was about to say that too.
Once the game was in hand, I don't want to take any chances.
At halftime, it was 31-7.
We could have sat him down.
We could have sat him down.
Yeah, Tennessee's not scoring 24 points in the second half. It's not happening.
I don't know. They haven't done that all year.
No.
The Texans locked up their final win of the year, a 38-30 win over the Indianapolis Colts at home. They go into the playoffs as the 5 seed taking on Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh.
Do we have any concern that Riley Leonard and the Colts scored 30 on the Texans defense?
No honest concern, because once it went final in Jacksonville, or once that game became a blowout, Texans weren't playing for anything.
Do you think it's easy to just kind of lose focus when you look up at the scoreboard and you see Jacksonville up 3 scores?
I do. I think what's also crazy, Riley Leonard, 21-34 for 270 and 2.
He played well, but there were some troubling things of just, Alec Pierce was wide open.
Yes.
Just big chunk plays available for a defense that doesn't give up big chunk plays.
The Jets traveled to Buffalo. Buffalo get a 35-8 win at home in the final game of Highmark Stadium.
Well, they spent the whole second half talking about it because the game was so boring. The Bills had such a command on this game. They spent the entire second half as, a ceremony of Highmark Stadium.
That's all you got?
That's all I got on that one. It was a brutal watch.
The Lions headed to Chicago. The Bears needed to win to officially lock up the 2 seed, and the Lions, biting off kneecaps, get it done on the road, a 19-16 win in Chicago.
No chance this Bears team wins a playoff game. No chance. None whatsoever.
Benefit of the doubt of playing the Packers.
Lock it in my 2-point play. Packers, whatever the number is. Lock it in, 2-point play.
Well, look, I think the Bears are 1.5-point favorites.
Yeah, give me the points.
The Chargers traveled to Denver.
58.6% of his passes he's completing now this season. I checked. Caleb Williams, under 60% of his passes. He's going to win a playoff game against Jordan Love and the Packers. Wrong. Make that a drop.
The Chargers traveled to Denver and put up 3 points, which was not enough. A 19-3 win for the Denver Broncos. And with that win, they officially locked up the 1 seed, home field advantage, and a first-round bye.
Road goes through Denver. That's what we learned yesterday.
A meaningless game after the Raiders officially locked up the number 1 pick yesterday, but they got a win to finish off the year, a 14-12 win at home against the Chiefs.
Raiders are lucky that they have the number 1 pick locked up, and because they fire Pete Carroll and he wins a meaningless game at the end of the season. Imagine that cost them the number 1 pick and they fired him today.
Would have been bad.
Would have been really bad.
The Dolphins.
We can skip this game. Patriots did Patriot things. Who cares? Honestly, does anyone care about this game? No. I didn't watch a single second of it.
Honestly, though, this game was 17-10 coming out of half.
Yeah, and then the Patriots were like, "Oh, we're the Patriots," and then it was just over.
Yes, the Commanders went on the road in Philadelphia, a 24-17 win in a Tanner McKee versus Josh Johnson matchup. Eagles had a chance for the 2 seed after Chicago's loss, could not get it done. They're the 3 and will host the Honda Civic in the first round.
Everybody was ready for Tanner McKee, Josh Johnson. Clear the schedules.
Oh, nobody has to be concerned about Tanner McKee being a starter anywhere next
Somebody's
year.
going to trade for him.
You said that in the morning meeting. Wouldn't mind if the Jets did it.
They should do it.
In the Sunday night game, the most awaited game of the year.
What a crazy way to end the regular season.
Would you rather have it any other way?
Just
the Steelers, Ravens, in probably the NFL's newest best dynasty, youngest best dynasty or rivalry.
Just the craziness of the way this game ended. The Ravens take the 24-20 lead. A slip leads to Calvin Austin being wide open for a touchdown. Chris Boswell misses his first extra point all season. The Ravens then get the excellent kickoff return to where if they just sneeze, they're going to be in field goal range. They then kind of have a drive going. Some penalties stall it. A huge 4th down conversion with Isaiah Likely making one of the best catches you're going to see considering the circumstances all season. And then they trot out their rookie kicker for a 41-yard kick, and he just shanks it.
Just pushes it. Can I ask a question?
We don't have a lot of time, but please go ahead.
The Ravens had a playoff or had the play clock 12 seconds left and could have ran a play to get like 5-6 more yards.
It's a 41-yard field goal. He made from 40 earlier in the game. You're not worried. The only time he's missed all year is from like 55
And
plus.
I think it wouldn't be a question, but Henry's had a little bit of a fumbling problem this year.
Well, and they were stacking the box against, they were putting 5 down linemen to make sure that Henry couldn't gain anything. So you were going to have to throw it. You don't want to take a sack in that spot. No, I'm not second guessing their decision. It's a 41-yard field goal.
Got to hit it.
Just make the kick.
Pittsburgh won the division, headed to the playoffs. They'll host the Houston Texans.
There you have it, the Week 18 final regular season edition of the NFL Rewind. When we come back, they grew up in front of our eyes last night, and they've started 2026 on the perfect note. That's next, the lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
You're listening to The Jim Rome Show.
The Lane Kiffin reinvention arc went from one of the truly feel-good stories in the game to him once again becoming public enemy number 1. I have no issue with him leaving. It's how he left. Burning all bridges yet again. You strung Ole Miss along. You turned it into a complete circus, and then you were bent when they wouldn't let you coach them in the playoff? Get out of here with that. It's natty or bust for you at LSU, Lane.
The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, here on KDUS AM 1060.
The Avett Brothers and Mike Patton present Avett Patton performing live at Arizona Financial Theater, May 12th. Avett Patton. On sale now at livenation.com.
So, you're ready to propose, huh?
Yeah, man. She's definitely the one.
What are we thinking about the ring? I got my wife's at Hellsberg. I couldn't recommend a better jeweler.
I could use some help with that.
Man, go to Hellsberg. I had no idea how many details you need to consider. Did you know you can get a natural or lab-grown diamond? I didn't. Figure out what she wants. Trust me, they'll make it happen.
Start your story with Hellsberg. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
One study found that half of all clients are unhappy with their lawyer. The number one complaint, a total lack of communication.
That's why we survey our clients and know over 97% are happy. Do your research. Call the husband and wife law team first.
Meineke always treats your car like it's their own. With over 50 years of experience, Meineke's certified technicians will diagnose and fix any issue with precision and care. Schedule an appointment at Meineke.com. Trust your key with Meineke. Meineke, doing car care right.
Join in on the Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Beerstein.
The Chiefs have had some really bad calls against them this year as well.
I'm sure everyone listening is going to roll their eyes and say, well, the last 7 years the Chiefs have had great calls. Maybe they have, but there should be no makeups. There should be great refereeing or the best available refereeing every week. And in a lot of games this year, there's been a lot of bad calls. The Chiefs have been part of that.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
A statement win last night for the Phoenix Suns. A perfect way to start 2026. The best win of the year last night for the Phoenix Suns, taking down the Oklahoma City Thunder 108-105. This team, right in front of all of our eyes, has grown up. No longer are they the little engine that could, beating all the teams behind them that they're supposed to beat and competing and being scrappy, but never really being able to beat those teams above them in the standings. 2-0 against San Antonio this season. 2-1 against the Lakers this season. 2-0 against Minnesota this season. Now 1-2 against the Thunder. Almost beat them the first time. And boy, is it fair to question what that cup game would have looked like if the Suns were fully healthy. Because the other two times when they were relatively healthy, they almost beat them in Oklahoma City in the final of the group stage games of the NBA Cup. And they beat them last night. And they beat them in the way that you would expect the Phoenix Suns to beat somebody like Oklahoma City. They're not leading for the majority of the game. They're hanging around. They're being scrappy. They're doing it with the bench. They outscored the Thunder 43-23 on the bench. Shout out Jordan Goodwin, 26 points off the bench last night. They won the rebounding battle 49-29, including 12-2 on the offensive glass. Played great defense in the fourth quarter. Oklahoma City went nearly 4 minutes without making a basket. 4:06 to go in the fourth, up until 26.3 seconds. Oklahoma City did not make a basket. All their points came at the free throw line. And then you have the cherry on top. You have Devin Booker having that moment, hitting that shot to give the Suns the lead. Although we could have better defense on the inbound pass for Oklahoma City because they got a wide open look to send the game to overtime. We could have done a little better there. They just wide open looks, only up 3. I would have appreciated just a little bit more awareness of the situation.
Very concerning. Very concerning they got that look.
He got that look and he was that wide open, but it is a win. The Suns are now 21-14. They're 2-0 to start 2026. They beat the Kings last week as well. They are just rolling, and this is the type of win that makes you believe. This is the type of win that tells you, why can't this team do more than we thought at the beginning of the season? Because they're doing it the way that you knew they were going to have to do it, with the grit, with the determination, with the scrappiness. There was a possession at the end of the third quarter where the Suns got a number of offensive rebounds. They were moving the ball all over, and they were missing looks. The quarter ran out. They were up 1. I think they were up 74-73 the end of the third quarter. But just that possession where they're getting the loose ball, they're making the extra pass, they're getting these clean open looks, even though the shots didn't get down for them, that was the type of possession that told you they can hang with Oklahoma City. What an impressive statement to start 2026. Goes back to what we said last week on the show. This team can do more. This team can be a top 6, top 5 team because of the way the Western Conference plays out. And with a win like last night, a statement win for this team. Now they've got to play Houston tonight. They're leaving today to play them tonight because they had a mechanical issue with their plane. So that should be something to keep an eye on. Hour number 1 of the program in the books. Buy or sell, the first buy or sell of 2026 when we come back. It's the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
They're going to go nuts when he hits this thing.
The People's Open is back. See the PGA Tour's best tee it up at the 2026 WM Phoenix Open, February 2nd through the 8th at TPC Scottsdale. Get tournament and ticket info at WMPhoenixOpen.com.
Motley Crue, the return of the Carnival of Sins. September 16th, Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater. The Crew celebrates the 20th anniversary of Carnival of Sins. Motley Crue, with performances by Tesla and Extreme. Tickets on sale now at LiveNation.com. Motley Crue, part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
Hey, it's Phil Shaver with HomeSmart, and I want to buy your house. I'm a local investor that buys homes for cash all over Maricopa and Pinell County. I buy inherited homes, nice homes, rental homes, homes that are behind on mortgage payments, and I even buy ugly homes that need fixing. Also, are you looking to get closer to market value for your house? As a licensed realtor, I've been able to buy and sell thousands of homes. Since I'm local, you can call me directly on my cell phone, 480-409-9999. Again, that's 480-409-9999. I don't work for a big corporation or hedge fund, so I can only buy 3 to 5 homes per month. There are no fees involved, and you can pick your own close date. The best part is I buy homes as is, so you don't have to worry about doing any repairs. Again, you can call me directly at 480-409-9999, or you can go to my website, gosoldaz.com. That's gosoldaz.com.
Fridays at 5, I'm out exploring. From hiking up Camelback to skiing at Snowbowl, the adventures never stop with AAA. It's membership that travels with me, whether behind the wheel or a passenger. In my ride, my buddies, or a rental. AAA's got 24/7 expert help with tows, battery help, and more. Plus branch services like free passport photos and trip planning. Membership gives you all this and more for less than $6 a month, and I can add loved ones for half off. Call or visit your local branch today. AAA, your membership to go.
Superstar Car Wash has extended our best deal of the year. Log in 30% off for 12 months on a Super Protect Unlimited membership. Splurge elsewhere, save here, and treat your wealth before it's gone. Visit our website for details.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
We start hour number 2 of the program. My sincerest apologies, ladies and gentlemen.
We didn't do it because we didn't do it in the open.
That's normally where I do it. We got a couple of a W and a W. Friday against Sacramento. Yesterday, last night against Oklahoma City. They play Houston tonight on the road at Houston. Again, they had mechanical issues with their plane, so they went home last night. So they did not travel yet last night to Houston. They're going to leave. I think they left a couple hours ago. So they're going to get there a little bit later on today and then try to play tonight. So that'll be interesting to keep an eye on. The first buy or sell of 2026, we're going to come out of the gates. Jonathan Gannon gone. Cardinals with a head coaching search. Number 3 overall pick. ASU gets a transfer portal quarterback. There's a lot going on. I expect this. How about this? I expect this to be the best buy or sell of 2026.
Wow. In the first one.
It's not a high bar to clear because it's the first one, but I expect this to be the best buy or sell of 2026.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. What do you want to start with?
Let's see. If you got anything Cardinals related, how about we start with that?
Yep. I don't have any. No, I'm just kidding. The Cardinals will hire a head coach with experience at the position.
This is going to be one of the more fascinating debates that I think is going to play out in this process, and maybe we dive more into this tomorrow. We've got a jam-packed show today. The Cardinals made this decision. There's other firings we want to talk about in the NFL world. We're going to talk about the potential candidates today as well, but maybe we can dive deeper in tomorrow's show. So put this aside for tomorrow's show about experience versus coordinator, who's an up-and-coming name in the sport. I have the school of thought you hire who you think is the best person for your job at that time. And if the Cardinals feel that the best person for this job in this moment is somebody with experience because they've gone down the coordinator route, or in the case of Cliff Kingsbury, they pulled somebody out of college, and they feel they need somebody who has been through some adversity at the NFL level and they're not interested in watching that person learn on the job, then fine. Rule out Clint Kubiak. Rule out Todd Monken. Rule out Mike LaFleur. Rule out all those coordinators. I think you're shrinking the pool to a small number of names, and I don't know how exciting those names are going to be to this fan base, but I could understand if after watching the last 2 coaches learn on the job and it not go well, You want somebody who has been there, done that. It's why Kevin Stefanski's probably going to be on the top list for most teams, because if he can win in Cleveland, he can win anywhere. And so he's somebody who's been in a place where there's a mess. He cleaned it up, went to the playoffs, started a bunch of different quarterbacks, and won in Cleveland. So I can understand if you told me, hey, Chris, I really want Kevin Stefanski. I understand why he would check all the boxes. I do worry about limiting the pool to somebody who has experience as a head coach. That's a short list.
The short list.
That list is not going to have as many names as you think it's going to have on it. Brian Daboll, Mike McCarthy, Brian Flores. I mean, I haven't done a deep dive fully on this yet. We're going to throw some names out there a little bit later on this hour. But if you're going to limit it to somebody with experience, somebody who's been there and done that before,
gives you a pretty short list.
It's a very short list. And all of the trendy names, Joe Brady, Clint Kubiak, LaFleur, all of those names, bring back Clayton Adams. All those names now get off the table. They're gone. Can't even entertain them. Not sure I would do that.
There's a larger chance that Kyler Murray could be back as the quarterback with Jonathan Gannon's exit this morning.
We're going to talk about this later on this hour, but I think the chances have grown, and here's why. I do not want the Arizona Cardinals to force a quarterback decision on a head coach in these interviews. Do not filter your coaching search into finding somebody who agrees and aligns
the alignment
with your belief that the team needs to move on from Kyler Murray. You need to get the best candidate for the job. And if the candidate that sells you on their ability to turn things around is also somebody who wants to give it a run with Kyler, I wouldn't do it. My sales pitch to the Cardinals would be to move on from Kyler Murray. But if Clint Kubiak wants to sell the Cardinals on competing in the NFC West with Kyler Murray, I'm not going to allow that to stop me from hiring a head coach. So I do think there's a pathway. I think if Gannon stayed, he was going to have to move on because it was the only way for him to make it to the 5th year of his 5-year deal. I think it was the only way for him to get an extension is to reset at the quarterback position and show signs of progress. I now think anything, and by the way, anything should be on the table now that you've hit the reset button. Get the best candidate for the job, even if that means that candidate wants to keep Kyler Murray. I don't think it's going to work out. But if that's the sales pitch that they sell to you and you're in line with it, then let's go.
If the Cardinals decide not to take a quarterback at number 3, they should move back to get more picks or players.
I'll buy this take as well. Yeah. I think the only way they're taking a quarterback is there's really 2 scenarios I can envision where they would take a quarterback at 3. If 3 quarterbacks declare, Mendoza, Moore, and Simpson, they're going to take one of the 3. If for whatever reason the Raiders or Jets don't love the 1 or 2 quarterbacks, let's say just Mendoza comes out or Mendoza and Moore come out, and one of those teams wants to move out of their pick, and that leads a quarterback falling to the Cardinals, or they stay and pick a top player. They don't want to trade down. They don't like the offers, and that means a quarterback slides. That's really where they're going to be able to take a quarterback. So if just Mendoza comes out, Cardinals should trade back. Trade back, get a bunch of draft capital, invest in this roster.
Michael Wilson has cemented himself as the Cardinals' number 1 receiver. He'll have another 1,000-yard receiver or another 1,000-yard season next year.
Yeah, I'll buy this one as well. He is the number 1 receiver on the Arizona Cardinals. Got his 1,000-yard season yesterday with a nice day against the Rams. Now, I don't think he's the best skill player. I would give that to Trey McBride. But is Michael Wilson the best receiver on this team? Yes. Should Michael Wilson be considered the wide receiver 1 on this team going into next season?
Yes.
Yes. Would I consider trade offers for Marvin Harrison Jr. this offseason? Yes. I think the answer to all of those questions is yes. Because you know what Michael Wilson has that Marv doesn't have?
Experience or success.
1,000-yard season.
Yeah.
Michael Wilson's done it.
Experience, success.
I'm still waiting on Marv.
It's at some point, production matters. Can't go off talent.
No, you have to.
Production matters.
Right. And Michael Wilson's 1,000-yard season, I think, is also an interesting subplot as to why the coaching staff needed to be moved on from.
Because
it took this long to get this version of Michael Wilson. You drafted him. He's been here for 3 years.
We can go through the game log, but he's been here for 3 years. In weeks 1 through 9, in games 1 through 9, he never had over 60 yards, never had over 4 targets. Then he had 18 for 185, 15 for 18. He was getting double-digit targets in almost every game except 2.
But that's when Marv went down, and the offense apparently opened up to where we could get Michael Wilson more involved. Because remember, Marv came back in the Tampa game, and the story of the first half was they couldn't get all 3 guys involved. They couldn't figure out a way to get Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Michael Wilson involved. That's just a failure on coaching. Guess what? Injuries didn't play a role in that. You had all 3 guys on the field. You struggled to get your offense going with those 3 guys. Another reason why they needed to move on from coaching. But yeah, Michael Wilson's the number 1 receiver on this team.
Yeah, you called it an interesting subplot. I think it just shined a light.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants to say, injuries. They lost Kyler Murray, all the injuries on offense. They lost their 2 running backs. What's the excuse for Michael Wilson playing better when Marv was out than when Marv was in? What is the reasoning for that? That's a coaching problem.
At some point, the injuries started to show that they had talent on the roster at spots.
Also,
where these guys weren't being put in positions to succeed.
They didn't have injuries the first 4 weeks of the season when all these guys were on the field together.
And 2-2.
Right. You lost 14 of 15. That's not all on injuries. There's more to it than that.
Last night's Suns win will be the defining win of their season.
Oh, so far it is, yeah. So far, it's absolutely the defining win of the season. We didn't get to talk much about it in the last segment because we were pressed for time, but it's the win of the year, and I don't just mean 2026. Trying to be funny. It's the win of their season so far. That is the defending NBA champs. It's a team you've played close previously. It's a team that is the team that everybody's looking up to for the foreseeable future in the Western Conference. And you've shown 2 out of 3 times this season that you can hang with that team for 4 quarters in what is arguably going to be the worst version of the Phoenix Suns over the next couple of years. Right? Would we not agree this version that we're seeing right now is the worst version we're going to see over the next couple of seasons? When Jordan Ott and Brian Gregory really get to put their fingerprints on this roster with the money that's going to come off the books, the ensuing draft classes that they're going to be able to bring in, the trades they're going to be able to make, Jalen Green becoming healthy, the development of Fleming and Malawach and Brea and the roles that they could be able to provide for this team. This is the worst version of the Phoenix Suns that we're going to see over the next couple of years if everything goes according to plan. And you've hung with the Thunder 2 of the 3 times you've played them this year, including beating them last night. The statement win, and it showed everybody. This is a top 5 team in the Western Conference. That is a top 5 team in the Western Conference with the way they're playing right now.
I agree, especially with the injuries on Denver.
Right. I mean,
this team will finish in a playoff spot.
Part of it is your circumstances, right? Part of it is taking advantage of the circumstances around you. Do I think talent-wise they're the 5th best team in the Western Conference?
Probably not.
They're not in the top 10 in talent in the Western Conference. But they're playing like it. They're playing like a top 5 team. A top 5 team can't beat Oklahoma City. A team outside the top 5 can't beat Oklahoma City like they did last night. They're a top 5 team right now in the Western Conference.
This is the most wide open the NFL playoffs have been in recent memory. Anybody could win.
You don't feel like in years past the AFC, everything ran through Kansas City and you felt like it was a foregone conclusion. Philly's kind of had a stranglehold on the NFC. It doesn't feel like they have it the same way that they've had in the last couple of years. And in the AFC, you don't have the Chiefs. So it's going to be a new contender, right? Think about the teams that have represented the AFC over the last couple of years in the Super Bowl. It's been Kansas City mostly, but Cincinnati had that one off. They're not in the postseason. So you're going to have mostly a new representative. Baltimore's been to a Super Bowl recently. They're out. So you're going to have somebody who hasn't been there in a really long time, or at least a decent amount of time in the Super Bowl. Buffalo, if they made it, first time in a long time for them. Denver, first time in a long time for them. Pittsburgh, it would be the first time in a decent amount of time. And on the NFC side, yeah, you've had some familiar faces, the San Franciscos of the world, LAs, Green Bays. They're in there every year, but it does feel like anybody can win it, maybe outside of Carolina and Chicago and Pittsburgh, for me, would be teams that I don't think can go deep in the postseason.
Yeah, I look at the Packers. I think the same thing. Just too hurt on the roster. I don't think they have enough weapons to win an NFC title game.
No, Micah Parsons is a huge blow for them, right?
Yeah, too hurt. Cutter Boley will lead ASU back to the college football playoff.
I'm so in on this guy. Had a chance this morning, sat down, watched some highlights. I liked what I saw. Is he going to make some mistakes? Sure. But the athleticism is there. The escapability is there. He's not afraid. Now, this is going to drive some of us crazy throughout the year next year. I don't think there's a throw on the field that Cutter Boley thinks he can't make. So he's going to try some stuff.
You watch his tape, and sometimes like, how did he fit it in that window? And you're like, I wouldn't have thrown that.
There's going to be some interceptions that he throws next year where you're going to be like, okay, not that throw. Like that. That's where we've got to draw the line. And look, you trust Kenny to take the raw talent that he clearly has and the athleticism that he has. And you pointed out to me in the film we were watching this morning. Not a lot of design runs for him, right? A lot of it is pocket breaks down, play breaks down. He's extending plays. Now, he's got to do a better job of sliding. He has to do a better job of sliding.
We watched him run, 20 times?
He takes some gnarly
hits. He slid once.
Right. He's got to start sliding. I think Kenny's the perfect quarterback whisperer to get the most out of him. I'm going to say something. Could be considered blasphemous. I think Cutter Boley comes to ASU as a player I'm more excited about than when Sam Levitt came to ASU.
Certainly.
Now,
Cutter Boley has a starting experience at this point, has had success, but also played against some of the best defenses in the country and seen what it looks like. Some of the teams that are competing in the college football playoff, he played this year. When Sam came to ASU, he hadn't started a college football game.
Now, Sam showed it over the 2 years that he was here. Cutter Boley has to prove himself. But Cutter Boley steps onto Tempe campus a better
quarterback
than Sam did. That's what gets me excited. So, yeah, I'll buy this take.
That's it.
That's all you have. That's it. The music runs out. We're done. A little buy or sell here to start 2026. We told you the other 5 openings in the NFL. What might those teams do at their position? That's next. The lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
The Dan Patrick Show.
You got Seattle figured out? I'm trying to. I said that defense is unbelievable. They run the football, but what's it come down to? Sam Darnold is going to have to prove to all of us in a big game he can play big. Now, you can say that game against San Francisco, he played big. He didn't. His defense did and his running game did. We did this with Lamar Jackson. We do this with Josh Allen. There are certain quarterbacks where we go, okay, prove it.
Weekdays, 7 to 10 a.m. on KDUS AM 1060.
Chicago Sticks, the Windy Cities Tour. Finally, 2 iconic bands together for the first time. September 1st, Mortgage Matchup Center. Tickets on sale now at LiveNation.com. Don't miss Chicago and Sticks. All the hits, your kind of tour.
Rule number 21. Let the chips fall where they may. The flop. The river. Kicker. Big blind. Ace in the hole. Broadway. Muck. I have no idea what any of this means, but at Talking Stick Resort, whether you're playing blackjack or sitting down at the new state-of-the-art arena poker room, you will know what to do. Talking Stick Resort. Life well played.
Right now at Del Taco, you can get 2 grilled chicken tacos for just $3. You hear that? That's the real sizzle of a real grill. At Del Taco, we freshly grill our marinated chicken right here in our kitchens. Not some factory far, far away. It's what makes our grilled chicken tacos a top seller for over 30 years. So come get 2 grilled chicken tacos, made to order for only $3. A real good deal we can all use right now. Only at Del Taco. Del, yeah. Price and participation may vary.
Meineke's highly skilled and certified technicians always treat your car like it's their own. With over 50 years of experience, Meineke will diagnose and fix any issue with precision and care using the best state-of-the-art equipment. You can always depend on Meineke to do the job right and get you back on the road in no time. Save time and schedule an appointment now. Visit Meineke.com today. Trust your key with Meineke. Meineke, doing car care right.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. After crushing the College Football Playoff Committee for its handling of this year's playoffs, maybe it's time to give the committee a little credit. Miami over Notre Dame was viewed as a massive leap of faith when the bracket was revealed. Now Miami is fighting for a spot in the national title game after knocking off Texas A&M and Ohio State. Ole Miss faced a similar skepticism. Many believe the Rebels should have been dropped after losing Lane Kiffin, assuming instability would catch up to them quickly. Instead, the committee held firm on Ole Miss, and now they're a win away from the title game. Did the committee get everything right? Probably not, but the competitive balance this season is evident. The playoff has delivered drama, upsets, and exciting games deep into the bracket. For all the criticism, this has been one of the more compelling college football playoffs we've seen in the last couple of years. And the committee deserves some credit. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.
Start the year with a splash of flavor. Heartland Steakco's Reef and Beef Package combines juicy steak and fresh seafood for the ultimate celebration. With the Reef and Beef Package from Heartland Steakco, you will be feasting on Maine cold water lobster, jumbo USA sea scallops, 16-ounce USDA choice ribeye steaks, and 8-ounce filet mignon, delivered straight to your door. Don't wait long, because the Reef and Beef Package from Heartland Steakco will not be around forever. So treat yourself or pick one up as a gift for family, friends, clients, or anyone who loves that true Midwest taste. Ordering is easy at heartlandsteaksco.com. And right now, when you spend $199.99 or more, you'll get free shipping plus $26 off with promo code NEWYEAR26. Give the gift of flavor this year with Heartland Steakco. That's heartlandsteaksco.com, promo code NEWYEAR26. Taste the Heartland difference.
NAU men's basketball continues over on KAZG 1440. Join the Lumberjacks this Thursday evening as they play host to Weber State. With the leadership of head coach Shane Burkhart, NAU knows they have what it takes to defend home court. Join Mitch Stroman on the call live. It's NAU versus Weber State this Thursday. Pregame at 5:30 p.m. over on KAZG 1440 and tip off at 6 on KDUS AM 1060.
The Cardinals will have 5, at least as of this moment, competitors in the head coaching search. Jonathan Gannon out. It's our big story here today on the program. Atlanta, the Raiders, the Browns joining the Cardinals within the last 16, 18 hours to make a coaching change, joining the Giants and Titans who made a change in the middle of the season. Those 6 teams will be searching for a new head coach. And I want to focus on the other 5 here for this segment, because on the other side of the break, we will talk about the Cardinals and who they might be seeking as potential candidates. But I want to talk about the other 5 teams right now with you, producer Evan, if you don't mind, because I want to focus on what they might be looking for at their head coaching spots, because it may be in conflict with what the Cardinals are doing, or they may be going in a completely separate direction and their pool of candidates may not cross over. So I think it's important to look at each of these situations. And we did this a little bit in hour number 1 with their cap situation, where they're picking, that type of stuff. But I think it's important to know where these teams have been over the last couple of seasons and then compare it to where the Cardinals are looking. So who do you want to start with? Which team makes the most sense to start with?
I think it's probably Tennessee, right? They made the first change.
So Tennessee, we know, I think it's fair to say their goal with their head coaching search is find an offensive mind for Cam Ward. All of this is about the development of Cam Ward as a quarterback. So you want somebody who is an offensive-minded guy, because I think most of these teams that have highly selected quarterbacks and they find themselves in these coaching searches, you don't want to hire a defensive-minded guy and then get an offensive coordinator that works with your quarterback, and then in a year or two, they're gone. And you've now undone all the work that you've laid over the last 2 years. So they're going to want an offensive-minded guy for Cam Ward. Now, I think the Cardinals may let the pendulum swing back in the other direction and take an offensive-minded guy, so there is some crossover there. But the main goal for Tennessee is find an offensive mind for Cam Ward.
Let somebody develop your quarterback.
Develop our quarterback.
Period.
Find our Ben Johnson.
Number 2, the second team to make the change with a very similar outlook, the New York Giants.
A team that has some comparisons, I think, to the Arizona Cardinals in this regard. They're keeping the GM. Joe Shane is sticking around as the general manager, so he's going to get a second swing, just like Monty is going to get a second swing. And I do think there are some similarities between these two teams in Joe Shane the first time around went with offensive coordinator, up-and-coming name, change up the offense. They may swing towards experience, just like many out there want the Cardinals to swing more towards the experience, somebody who's been a head coach before, has had some success. Lots of crossover, I think, between the pool that the Giants will be looking at, although I think there is one big name that the Giants should be searching for, or one big name they should be talking to in their search, and that is Cliff Kingsbury. The Cardinals won't do that for obvious reasons. So that could be a benefit to the Cardinals, is that Cliff Kingsbury may be the guy in New York, knows the division, has had success with Kyler Murray in his first year, Jaden Daniels in his first year. You've now got Jackson Dart. You want to develop him into something. Lots of boxes could get checked there.
How about the team that made their change last night, the Atlanta Falcons, going to be looking for a new head coach?
Man, can't you see them? Aren't they the team that you feel could go in so many different directions?
I have no idea what they're going to do.
They could go in the direction of experience. I'll throw his name out there. I don't think he's going to leave. Bill Belichick. We know they were interested in him the first time around. Mike McCarthy. Could they go somebody that's like, you have veteran head coaches and then you have veteran head coaches? Could they be going for one of those veteran head coaches?
Do you want to do the thing with them?
Sure.
John Gruden?
You could put his name on the list as well. I mean, John Gruden would make a ton of sense here.
I think that's the thing that makes the most sense.
Like, John Gruden for Arizona would make a lot of sense. I think that comes with a quarterback change, because I do not think Kyler Murray is
certainly comes with a quarterback change.
John Gruden's style of quarterback. But I could see that. I could see Gruden being on the short list in Atlanta.
I feel like those are the two teams that make the most sense.
I think the Giants could make some sense for Gruden.
Young quarterback coming to work with Jackson Dart.
I think he's able to handle the market, and I think that's going to be an important box for the Giants to check, because I don't think Dable handled himself very well at times.
No, I don't think so at all.
And so you're going to want somebody who can handle the New York media, can handle the tough questions, can handle a 2 or 3 game losing streak where the noise starts to bubble up and you're dealt with it. You got arrows coming your way every single day. John Gruden would be able to handle that.
He's been in big markets.
So that's a skill and trait that I think the Giants are certainly going to want to have. Whereas with the Cardinals, that's not a box you really need to be able to check.
You're not worried about it.
You're not super worried about that. The media here, it can get loud, but it's not as loud as it is in New York or LA or Chicago or.
No, you're not a huge market team like some of those. The Browns made their change this morning. They're going to be looking for a new head coach as well.
It's not Kevin Stefanski's fault. They got the quarterback decision wrong.
It's not.
They paid him all that money. They were stuck. I don't know who's going to take that job.
Who wants that job?
That's the problem. Now, I've been told this my whole life, and it turns out to be true. There's 32 of these. Somebody's going to take the job. Right? Somebody is going to be offered the job, and they're going to take the job because you may only get one chance at being an NFL head coach. And so you're not going to let an opportunity pass by. Is it going to be one of the top candidates in this cycle? I don't think so. Like, I don't think they're going to be in play for Clint Kubiak. I don't think they're going to be in play for Joe Brady. I don't think they're going to be in play for Cliff Kingsbury. I don't think they're going to be in play for the top names in this cycle.
I don't either. I can't see
Jesse Minter, I don't see going there.
I can't see a world.
I don't see Brian Flores going there.
They're going to be at the top of somebody's list. You've no cap room as of now.
I could see them giving the job to somebody like a Clayton Adams, who's probably a year away from being a head coaching candidate, but Cleveland wants to get aggressive. They try to get ahead of the curve. They make an aggressive offer. And so Clayton Adams feels like he's got no choice. He's got to take the gig. Somebody like that, right? Who's Liam Cohn's offensive coordinator in Jacksonville? I'm trying to think of somebody who is probably a year or two from seriously being considered. That might be what Cleveland has to do.
Grant Udinsky.
Who's been there for what, 1 year?
1 year, yes.
Somebody like that who has very limited experience, Cleveland may have to jump at that tier of candidate. Arizona might be in that same boat too. But Cleveland, I think, definitely is going to be in that boat.
The last team other than the Cardinals to make their change, the Raiders fired Pete Carroll this morning.
They've got to pick a direction because last time they got this wrong. They got Pete Carroll for a team that wasn't ready for Pete Carroll to be their head coach.
At all.
Pete Carroll, at that stage of his career, needs to be on a team that's more complete, that's more ready to compete, that maybe he's had a couple of... You know where he would have made the most sense? It didn't line up. But Pete Carroll, at this stage of his career, made sense for the Chargers. Hey, we're 7-10, we're 8-9. We keep missing. When we get to the postseason, we're falling short. But we've got a really good core nucleus here. We just need the right coach to put the ingredients together. That's the type of situation for Pete Carroll. None of these openings are that for Pete Carroll. None of these openings are that. So they have to decide what they are. And if they accurately decide what they are, then they can pick the right coaching candidate. Did you see the comment that Code just put in the YouTube chat? I don't know what to do with that. Because that kind of fits what I just said about Cleveland. Over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel. Shout out to Code. Happy New Year to everybody, by the way. Said Deion Sanders, Cleveland head coach. I hate that it's a non-zero possibility.
If there was an organization to do it,
it would be them. It would be Cleveland. I hate that it's a non-zero chance. I hate that I read the comment and thought to myself, there's a chance that they would consider it. That it wouldn't be an immediate no. So that's what you're going up against. Are those all the teams? Did we miss anybody?
I think we got them all.
Those are the teams that you're competing with. Some are looking for coaches that check the same boxes as you. Some aren't, right? I think New York's net and Arizona's net going to be very different. I think Arizona's net and Vegas's net could be very different. I don't think there's going to be some overlap because there's only so many names out there. But I think what New York is going to need in a head coach is not what Arizona needs in a head coach. What I think Cleveland's going to need in a head coach is not what Arizona is going to need in a head coach. This is a very unique job. It's a tough division. You need somebody that's going to raise the floor in that regard. You're going to need somebody who is going to be able to overhaul this offense. So offensive-minded guys. Cleveland just had an offensive coordinator as their head coach in Kevin Stefanski. They might not be looking in that area. New York probably is. Tennessee probably is. You're going to have some overlap there. And we're going to talk in the next segment exactly what the Cardinals might be doing with this head coaching search. So we'll take a quick timeout. We'll do that when we come back. The phone number for you to join us here today, 480-864-1060. The Cardinals, they've made their decision. Jonathan Gannon fired after 3 seasons. Who might be some of the potential candidates? What might the Cardinals be looking for in their next head coach? We'll get to it next. The lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
ASU women's basketball continues here on KDUS AM 1060. The Lady Sun Devils make their way back to Arizona, this time to defend home court against the University of Central Florida. Head coach Molly Miller and the Lady Sun Devils are more than ready to take on any challenge that comes to Tempe. Join Jeff Munn on the call live this Wednesday. It's ASU versus UCF. Pregame at 6 p.m. and 12 at 6:30 right here on KDUS AM 1060. Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
I get by with a little help from my friends.
Ringo Starr and his all-star band. With friends, Steve Lukather from Toto. From Men at Work, Colin Hay. From Average White Band, Hamish Stewart. Friday, June 12th, 7:30 p.m., Gamage Auditorium. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Produced by Danny Zalesko Presents.
Hi, I'm Dave Hastings. A lot of people don't realize how our fee works at Hastings & Hastings, and it's one of the biggest advantages we offer. When you hire Hastings & Hastings, you pay nothing up front, nothing at all. We front every expense it takes to fight your case, and you don't owe us a dime unless we win. And when your case does settle, our discount fee means more money stays where it belongs, with you. In fact, in a recent $15 million settlement, our discount fee put over $1 million additional dollars in our client's pocket. That's money other attorneys would have taken for themselves. That's the difference when you choose an experienced Arizona law firm that believes in fairness, transparency, and real results for clients. That's Hastings & Hastings. No fee unless you win. And when you do, our discount fee means more money for you.
Think of all the money you're wasting if you don't call Hastings & Hastings.
Hey guys, if you have low T, it's time to get your edge back. Start testosterone therapy at Red Mountain Weight Loss and get a month of GLP-1 weight loss medications absolutely free. That's a $299 value. Listen, just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel older. Prescription testosterone restores your get up and go, so you'll feel like you're 20 again. Get more muscle with less effort in the gym. You'll also think better, sleep better, and your love life will be better. Look, don't be fooled. Nothing boosts testosterone like actual testosterone. It's a game changer. And if you're looking to lose weight, there's nothing like the combo of testosterone and a GLP-1 medication. It'll burn that belly fat and get you ripped. This month, get free GLP-1 medication, a $299 value, when you start testosterone therapy only at Red Mountain Weight Loss. Book your video appointment today. Go to redmountainweightloss.com or dial pound 250 on your phone. Keyword Red Mountain. Time to get your edge back at Red Mountain Weight Loss.
I'm Bree.
I'm Sean.
And we are the Berquist family. We are repeat Fulton customers, and we've lived in a Fulton community for 6 years. We had been looking for a home, and so we walked into the Fulton community, and we were just absolutely blown away. When we walked into the model home, we noticed the high ceilings, the beautiful kitchen, the flooring, and the floor plan. We knew it was a place where we were going to raise our family.
And on top of that, we have a swimming pool and a good location here.
When you say the word community, you have to be able to see it and feel it. And so when you have your neighbors, you feel that community because you become friends, and it even feels like family, like a family community. And that is something that is priceless and can last a lifetime. We absolutely would recommend a Fulton home to our friends and family.
Fulton Homes. You're proud to own, we're proud to build.
James out west. 7 teams to decline a bowl game. I feel like we shouldn't be able to do that.
Certain teams, I can understand. Notre Dame, you're a top-notch team. You have a lot of recruiting you need to retain. I kind of get that. Temple, what are you doing? Who are you to be turning down bowl games? What major recruits are you losing that are in off-season mode at Temple? There should be some parameters around that, but the season is officially over. Like, these are invitations. You can decline an invitation. So I see it from both sides.
Every other Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Very newsworthy day. The Cardinals season came to an end yesterday. Lost to 37-20 loss to the Rams to finish up a 3-14 season. And the news today is that the Arizona Cardinals have chosen to move on from Jonathan Gannon as their head coach. I believe that Monty Ossenfort and Michael Bidwell were scheduled to meet with the media as of 12 o'clock or so. I haven't seen any specific quotes on social media, but I'll hit the quick refresh button here, if you don't mind, to see if there's anything, new.
I've been checking. I haven't seen anything.
Anything super noteworthy?
Doesn't look to be yet.
This quote from Monty: I think when you come off a season like we had, I'd say all options are on the table, whether it's quarterback or any other position, end quote. And it's going to be a lot of that, right? It's going to be a lot of, when you're 3-14, you are not going to put yourself into any specific situation, right? You're not going to box yourself into any corner because you went 3-14. This was as bad as it gets. It's the worst season in franchise history. The worst season in franchise history. Bidwell, quote, I know our fans are frustrated. I am more frustrated. you're going to hear a lot of words today. And unfortunately, because of the last 6 years or so, they're just words. You have to see action. And the same memo, the same message I sent to
the alignment,
Brian Gregory, after that introductory press conference, work in silence. I don't want to hear about what you're doing. I don't want to hear about the plan. I don't want to hear all the nice things. I don't want to hear. Listen, I can get up there right now, not having coached a single second or been GM for a single second in the world of professional football. And I can say all these things. We need to be better. We're going to be better. We're going to self-reflect. We're going to look internally. We're going to figure out how this went wrong. We're going to make sure this never happens again. Anything and everything is on the table. We're going to cast a wide net in our coaching search. This is unacceptable. Today is about accountability. We appreciate what Jonathan Gannon did here, but these results are just not what I've come to expect, what you, the fan, have come to expect, and what this organization needs to reach its heights. Listen, I can do it sitting from here. I can do it sitting here, not in front of the media, being asked these questions. It's about action. And the action that the Cardinals are going to have to do before anything else is hire a general manager. That is the first thing that they are going to do this offseason, is hire a head coach. So what should the Cardinals be looking for in their next head coach? Because they've done the coordinator thing. It was Cliff Kingsbury, offensive guy, college head coach. That didn't work out. It then became defensive-minded guy off of a well-respected coaching tree, right? And nobody at the time would have said, why are you taking a coordinator from the Philadelphia Eagles? Everybody pointed to that coaching staff as having a lot of success, doing things the right way, building things the way that the modern NFL game asks you to build your team. Yeah, I want some of that knowledge. I want some of that experience to rub off on my organization. It was the right place to look. They just picked the wrong guy. And so what are they looking for in their next head coach? Is the pendulum going to swing back in the other direction and they're going to get somebody with an offensive mind? Is it going to be somebody that wants to move on from Kyler Murray? Is it going to be somebody who wants to keep Kyler Murray? Is it going to be somebody that has experience at the position? Or is the net going to be wide open to whoever the best candidate is? These are all questions I have today that I can't answer today. We'll start to get a feel for what the priority is for the Arizona Cardinals, because once they conduct these interviews, we get the social media graphics of, oh, we've completed an interview with so-and-so. That's going to tell us. That's going to be the roadmap of what this team is prioritizing. But this should be the widest net possible. This should be a search for a person that maybe isn't on a list right now of candidates, but somebody that sells Michael Bidwell and Monty on a vision for the future. And that vision could include Kyler Murray. It could include going in a different direction. It could include having the right answers for what went wrong this season, because to me, there are 3 questions I would answer. I would ask a head coach candidate, and the answer would determine whether or not they move on to the second stage. From where you're sitting, where do you think things went wrong for this franchise? And I don't want to hear injuries as an answer. From your outsider's perspective, what went wrong here? Secondly, how do you fix it? Give me your 3 5-point plan to fix this. Third, what do you want to do at quarterback? Those are the 3 questions. Those are the 3 questions that I would ask first and foremost out to any of the candidates that I interview in this process. I think the Cardinals will be asking those questions. I think the answers to those questions are going to be very important. And the quarterback cloud hovers over all of this. Are they going to force a coach to keep Kyler Murray? Are they going to only be looking for coaches that want to move on from Kyler Murray? Are they only going to be looking for coaches that want to keep Kyler Murray? I unfortunately think the best way to get the best candidate for this job is to leave that choice up to them. I don't think a candidate out there is going to want to follow the same fate as Jonathan Gannon. So I think all the candidates will want to move on at quarterback, but they should be given that choice. They should at least be given a seat at the table. I wrote down 7 names here, producer Evan, all on just the offensive side of the ball that came to me this morning. Kevin Stefanski, Clint Kubiak, Mike LaFleur, Brian Dable, Joe Brady, Todd Monken, Clayton Adams. Just on the offensive side of the ball, those are names I would bring in to interview. Plenty on the defensive side that I would bring in as well. I would see what Brian Flores
is up to. I would talk to Jesse Minter, and I would pick brains. You've got the GM in place. You have a decision to make before the start of the league year in March of what you're doing with Kyler Murray. Take your time. Get this right. Don't be worried about what the other 5 teams are doing. Run your process. Run your race. Come up with the things that are non-negotiables for you. Come up with the things that the next coach has to have and start the process. And if a coach doesn't have those things, who cares if he's interviewing someplace else? Who cares if everyone else is interviewing? You have to run your race. Phoenix Suns ran their race, worked out really well. They had somebody who was kind of being hinted at as a future head coaching candidate, but was a little early on in the process. They nailed it because they nailed their process. The process led to those results. You have to have a good process. So first thing I would do if I'm Monty and Michael Bidwell is I'm getting together over the next couple of days and I'm refining what my process is going to be. What questions do we have to ask? What skills are we looking for? What are the non-negotiables? And then you start interviewing candidates. You don't do it as a work on the fly kind of thing. Figure out what skills, what traits, what non-negotiables you want in this next head coach, then start your interview process. And only bring in the candidates that you feel fit that bill. This is the most important decision they're going to make this offseason. They got to get it right. They've got to get this right. They've got the 3rd overall pick. They have a chance to potentially take a quarterback in this class. If the chips fall and the 3 quarterbacks declare, they're going to be able to take a quarterback in this class. They're going to have the quarterback and the head coach potential. You got to get the head coach right, or else you're going to be in the situation that the Bears have been in for a couple of years, that the Giants just found themselves in. They had a coach, didn't pair up with the quarterback. It didn't work. The results were all over the place, and then you moved on, and it became a mess. This is the most important thing they're going to do this offseason. More so than what they do with the 3rd overall pick, more so than what they do in free agency. This is now the most important decision that the Cardinals are going to have this entire offseason. And they have to spend the next couple of days, just like we are here on this program, defining what the Cardinals want in their next head coach, what they need to have in their next head coach. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. When we come back, it's all the stories we didn't get to throughout the course of the show. Plenty of them today with Jonathan Gannon and his removal as the head coach of the Cardinals, leading the way for us over the course of the 2 hours. We call it the leftovers. Get to them next. The lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Bad Omens. Do You Feel Love North American Tour 2026. Live at Desert Diamond Arena, March 24th. Bad Omens. With special guests, Beartooth and President. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Bad Omens, live in Glendale.
Hello, everybody. Eric Bryan, owner of Precision Air and Plumbing. This winter, stay warm and safe. Our complete heating tune-up is just $159.95. And if you have gas, we'll install a carbon monoxide detector for free. Carbon monoxide is the invisible killer, sending thousands to the ER and killing hundreds in the U.S. every year. Get peak efficiency, avoid surprise breakdowns, and protect your family. Make the precision decision today and call 602-FIX-MY-AC.
When you want to have so much fun, come to Twin Arrows for a flurry of cash and prizes.
The place to come when you want to have too much fun.
When you hit the slopes, hit the slots and tables at Twin Arrows. Then stay the night. Rooms only $99 at our AAA 4 Diamond Resort.
Twin Arrows.
Zenith Steakhouse hits the mark with the finest cuts of Navajo beef. And we're proud to announce we just received the coveted Top 3 of 2025 award from Business Rate. Talk about hits. The Marshall Tucker Band performs here February 27th. Tickets start at $78.
The place to come when you want to have too much fun.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
You're listening to The Jim Rome Show.
The Lane Kiffin reinvention arc went from one of the truly feel-good stories in the game to him once again becoming public enemy number one. I have no issue with him leaving. It's how he left, burning all bridges yet again. You strung Ole Miss along. You turned it into a complete circus, and then you were bent when they wouldn't let you coach them in the playoff? Get out of here with that. It's natty or bust for you at LSU, Lane.
The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, here on KDUS AM 1060.
Back to wrap up the first edition of 2026 for me. There was a show on Friday that producer Evan filled in while I was out sick to open up 2026. My first show of 2026, and boy, has it been a newsworthy one. Cardinals making the shouldn't be considered surprising move, but with all of the news surrounding what their future at coach was going to look like, it was somewhat surprising that they made the decision to fire Jonathan Gannon. And so that led the way for us today. It's going to lead the way for us here probably for the next couple of weeks until they get their next head coach. So we'll dive into that more as the week progresses. But now it is time for the leftovers, all the stories that we didn't get to throughout the course of the show. We get to them right now. What do you have on the docket today?
The transfer portal. We talked about it a little bit in buy or sell. ASU got redshirt freshman quarterback Cutter Boley from Kentucky to be the most likely next starting quarterback for the team. Sam Levitt is out there with a no contact list, but is supposed to meet with LSU early this week. The belief is it could be LSU or Kentucky, actually. And Texas Tech was on that list, but Brendan Sorsby has committed to Texas Tech to be their next quarterback.
Was it $5 million, I believe?
$5 million. Last year, ASU's roster was about 5.14 total worth.
So one player for Texas Tech got more than the NIL worth of ASU's entire program?
Correct.
Yeah. So you can see why Kenny fought for what he fought for in these contract negotiations, because that's what it's going to take to compete on the national level. That's what it's going to take to keep ASU relevant and to keep ASU in this mix year in and year out in the Big 12. This is a dollars and cents game now. I mean, you have the thought out there that Dante Moore could stay at Oregon and make close to what he would make on an AAV perspective if he went to the NFL. Like, that's where we're at right now. Now, I don't know if that ultimately happens, but the fact that it is being seriously talked about shows you where college football is right now. Not the only transfer portal news for ASU.
No, they also added a receiver today. They added former Colorado receiver Omarion Miller, which is huge news. He was the number 2 receiver in the portal and ranked number 9 overall. So a big get. He had 808 yards last year coming to Arizona State.
The last time the Sun Devils got a wide receiver transfer from the University of Colorado, it worked out pretty well for them.
Yeah, it did. It did. His name was Jordan Tyson. So big news. And they went out and got a running back from Villanova as well, who was another guy that was coveted around some of the bigger schools. So they've done well so far.
Yeah, he was Villanova's leading rusher over the last 2 seasons. So adding to the running game, defensively, beefing up the pass rush feels like something that should be a priority here with the remainder of the transfer portal. But ASU getting to work.
So far, the most success they've had in a single offseason, just off of where they rank.
Do you think that's because they have more resources at their disposal than probably previous years?
I think it's more resources, and I think it's a belief that now we know the coach isn't going to leave. So, like, if I'm committing to Arizona State, I see a path through ASU.
It's a combination of they probably have more money to throw at players, but they also now have a stronger resume than they did 2 years ago, right?
And even you went 8-5 last year, but you went to Sun Bowl in a year where you had a lot of injuries. You've seen guys have major success here. I also think seeing, for Omarion Miller's case, seeing Jordan Tyson going to do what he did, right? Go to Colorado and then move to Arizona State and be a top 10, top 5 pick.
He's going to be the first wide receiver off the board. And I do think having Hines Ward as your wide receivers coach
is a huge
recruiting tool. If you're going to put players, and this is what they were trying to set up with Herm and Ray Anderson. They were trying to set up the pipeline to the pros. They were going to try to have these coaches that had that NFL experience that could be used as a recruiting tool. And Hines Ward is an ultimate recruiting tool for ASU right now because it is a draw. So the money, I think the resume getting built over the last 2 years, right, and having another, semi-successful season last year, it is helping ASU in the portal, and we're seeing it with the results that they're putting together so far.
Some people in the chat saying Cardinals need to take a step back to step forward.
I saw our good friend who suggested that they go after a Washington offensive coordinator. He's being very funny about that because that person I used to do radio with, and we talked about that head coach. So I think my feelings on Cliff Kingsbury, he makes sense. They're just never going to do it. They're never going to go backwards. He's going to go someplace else, nor would he come here. So.
Officially, I want to officially put this out there. Congratulations, Drake May, on winning the MVP.
Oh, you think it's over?
I think it's over.
You think another semi-clunker from Matthew Stafford is...
It's over.
It's over. Okay.
There's just no way you can't give it to Drake May.
I think Drake May will be the MVP of the season, and I think the tiebreaker is going to be that he is putting up those numbers in his second season.
Also, I think that's the tiebreaker. I think the other tiebreaker is if I'm Matthew Stafford, I'm throwing to Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams.
Yeah, and then New England won the division, so that's going to play a role as well. The Rams did not. Stafford, unfortunately, those numbers are kind of expected with Stafford. Whereas
46 touchdowns is a lot.
May, I don't know if people expected him to be this good in year 2. So I think that's going to ultimately be the tiebreaker. Division winner shouldn't be this good in year 2, was the third quarterback taken in his class. Like, that's going to be what I think is the tiebreaker that gives him the MVP.
Man, I didn't realize he threw 46.
I don't think you can go wrong if you gave it to Stafford.
No, I don't either. I don't either. Now that I'm looking at the numbers, I don't either.
If your ballot is 1-2, Stafford, May in some order, you got it right.
Like last year, Stafford played 16 games. He threw 20 touchdowns. Not a bad number.
He's more than doubled it.
He threw 46 this year. That's the most of his career.
Stafford, May, 1-2 in some order, you're okay. Same thing with the AL MVP race. Remember, Cal Raleigh, Aaron Judge? Whatever order you put it in, if those were your top 2, you did it right.
Can we just talk about there's a season here. In 2011, Matthew Stafford threw for 5,000 yards, 41 touchdowns, and was not a Pro Bowler.
Who won the MVP that year?
In 2011.
Was that a Rodgers year?
Off the top of my head, it feels like it.
Yeah, I'm just pointing myself.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
You never know because that could have been a Manning year. I just don't know where it's stacked up.
Well, Rodgers has what, 4 of them?
Rodgers has 4 of them. Congratulations to Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you see him, he dropped a defender with his eyes last night to win the game.
I find myself not rooting against Aaron Rodgers, even though how things went in New York. The look on his face when the extra point was missed and then what the Ravens were doing on the ensuing drive, he just felt like, this is all I got. Like, I'm 42 years old. I gave you one more fourth quarter drive. Like, please, come on, man. I don't have another one in me. I can't do it. I can't do another year. This is it. You could just see the frustration on his face that one more fourth quarter comeback was going to get wasted. But alas, a missed kick, and the Steelers are going to the postseason. That's going to do it for us here. Monday edition in the books. Jim Rome's coming up next. Producer Evan, thank you for all that you do. Everybody, have a great rest of your Monday. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya.
AM 1060 KDUS